Have you ever heard of the Henry Ford of Japan? Well, there was a guy by the name of Soichiro Honda. Now, many of you have never heard of his name, but his last name is extremely famous all over the world. And he was born in a small Japanese village in the city of Tenyu. One day, when he was walking on the street, he takes a glimpse of the Ford Model T. And that's when everything changed for him. He was blown away by how fascinating this car was. The sound of the motor, the wheels, and even the way it smoothly swiveled through the streets. It was at that moment that a revelation came into his head. Now remember, Soichiro was not a straight-A student. He was often made fun of because he had a tough time with books and excelling in classes. But mechanics was his strong suit and something that came easy to him. Again, let's not forget that in the era of the early 19th century, there were not many opportunities available for the citizens of Japan. And worse than anything else, Soichiro did not come from a wealthy family. His father was just a regular blacksmith who made tools and shaped iron. And his mother was just a regular citizen working in the cloth industry. But it didn't matter to him. Soichiro knew that his destiny was always cars. And at the age of 15 years old, he moved to Tokyo, Japan to work in a garage. He loved it there, working as a mechanic, and best of all, he got to work on American cars, which fascinated him. But this wasn't just like any other mechanic job. The mechanic shop owner not only didn't trust Soichiro to work on any of the cars, but he feared that he might ruin them. And this really angered Soichiro. He thought to himself, what is my job here? Just to sweep floors? Anyways, as time went by, Soichiro decided to stay positive. He thought to himself, no matter what, he was going to work hard and sweep the floors until they were literally spotless. And he did just that. He swept and swept and swept away. And eventually, after time, his boss saw his persistence. The floors were spotless. And after a while, with this ideology, the owner did have a change of mind. Over time, the mechanic shop owner realized that this boy was not only a hard worker, but he was persistent and someone who never gives up. After 1 full year of non-stop sweeping, he started to teach Soichiro how to repair cars. And for 6 years straight, he became the perfect mentor to him. From teaching him how to fix carburetors to the transmission of the cars and even the motors. Soichiro slowly became a master mechanic and decided to go back to his hometown and open up a shop in the city of Hamatsu in 1928. And that's when everything just started to take off in his life. He found his soulmate, an innocent school teacher, and married her. And as time went by, the word spread in his neighborhood that this mechanic shop was the best of the best. Customers would flock in from all over Japan. And Soichiro's reputation just began to skyrocket. But he didn't want it to just stop there. He also had a passion for race cars. And over time, he started to dedicate a section of his mechanic shop not only to building, but designing different race cars. Many people ask him, why don't you just join official races and famous tournaments in Japan? And even though Soichiro was hesitant at first, he didn't have a passion for racing cars. Best of all, not only did he set the record for the fastest car ever built in Japan, but he became a champion race car driver. Anywhere you would look, you would not only see his name, but the name of his brand in every magazine all over Japan. And this caused him national recognition. His car literally put Japan on the map. But Soichiro was greatly ambitious. He wanted more and more and even more. He wanted to make cars for the whole country. He wanted to give the country of Japan a taste of what it's like to drive the best of the best cars, and those on the same level as the Ford Model T. And that's when the journey began. His company started to manufacture piston rings that would move and convert energy into gas. Honestly, Honda was unsuccessful at first, as the rings would break and his idea just failed. And this caused Soichiro to go back to school and study metallurgy. And after many unsuccessful attempts, he finally perfected the rings in the year 1940. He even sold them to Toyota, one of the first major car companies to occupy Japan. Honda was seen as an engineering grade, and during World War II, the country even asked them to make propellers for their so-called airplanes. Now, as you know, once the war ended and Japan lost, its people went through major turmoil, and no one could really afford a car. It was a huge setback because not only was gas too expensive, but it was considered something not economical for its people. And Honda had to put his company on hold. And over time, things financially worsened for him, to the point that all he could do was fix and repair old vehicles just to make a living. He even began riding the train to work just to make ends meet because of the chaotic gas prices. But after a couple years, he decided to partner up with the local businessman by the name of Taichio Fujisawa. It was there that Honda and Fujisawa created the Honda Motor Company that would provide motorcycles to the world. Yes, just like you heard it, motorcycles, not cars. And as time progressed, his new company started to make motorcycles that were extremely gas efficient and powerful in the year 1959. It was at this time that the company became extremely profitable. And after a time, when they accumulated more and more money, they decided back to transition to cars again. Honda had the mindset to start creating middle-sized cars, and instead of producing cars that were dependent on water-cooled engines, they would go forward with the innovation of air-cooled engines. Best of all, in 1972, the Honda Civic was released to the world and it became a sensation. It was nicknamed the green car that helped the environment, and the timing was perfect. Exactly when gas prices had skyrocketed, causing everyone to flock and buy the Honda Civic because it was getting exactly double the mileage of the normal American car. And all of a sudden, sales started coming in like hotcake for Honda. I hope you like this video, and remember, Soichiro Honda is an inspiration for everyone. He taught us that willpower and constant determination will cause any dream that you have to become a reality. Please comment below on what you think about Soichiro Honda, and if you want to see more videos just like this, click on the videos on the screen, and remember, always stay enlightened.